Hello everybody. Let's do a quick summary of getting into AutoCAD and how to use it. So we talked about this screen, going to start drawing as far as getting going. It'll take you into just a real basic drawing. We'll go ahead and click on this morning. One of the first things we want to do is we want to dock our command line. If you'll mash your left mouse button down and hold it, you can grab it by the little dots, drag it down into the corner and let it go, and it'll park itself. And from here, what we're going to do is we're going to raise it up just a little bit. All you want is the 3 command lines. As long as you can see the white one and 2 gray ones, you're good. That's what you'll need there. Now, a couple other things we want to do. We want to fix the pick box. The pick box on the screen, if we type in P-I-C-K-B-O-X, and if you notice, once I get to P-I-C-K, AutoCAD will catch up with us, and you can select it from the drop down here. This is called a dynamic display. It's really good to have, so you can pick things from it. So I'm going to click pick box. My value right now is 3. I'm going to change it to 5. That'll give us a bigger box. Our next thing that we're going to want to do, and we can do this from here from the applications button, is go to options, or we could type options. So I'm going to go to options. I'm going to go to user preference, right mouse click customization. I'm going to hit that. I'm going to start at the bottom. Command mode, I'm going to hit enter. Enter mode, edit mode, I'm going to hit repeat last command. Default mode, I'm going to hit repeat last command. And then turn on time sensitive right click and hit apply. This makes our right click an enter key. So I'm going to hit OK for that. So now we've got that part done. The next thing that we're going to want to do, and I'm going to slide my view screen up just a little bit. The next thing we're going to want to do is look down here at the bottom. We talked about the grid mode. I typically do not work with the grid mode on, so I'm going to cut it off. You can cut it back on if you want to. The other things that we're going to do, we're going to leave it in orthographic. We're going to come over here and hit this drop down. What we're going to do is cut our object snap on. Now, we could cut them on from here. I could click the ones that I want going down through here. And by the way, you want all of these down to where it says intersection and extension. So from endpoint to extension, I usually cut on. But I will do that from this setting box. Okay, this is called a dialog box. I get midpoint, geometric center, node, quadrant, leave intersection, and extension. And of course, the endpoint was already there. So all those are cut on. Now I'm going to go to polar tracking. Right now it's set at 90. Polar tracking means it's going to go along and it's going to draw 90 degrees. And when you get past the 45-degree mark, it'll jump up to 90. And when you get past the 45-degree mark going on this way, it'll jump back down to horizontal. It comes in handy having it click and jump in 45-degree increments. We can put in other increments, but this really helps a lot. So I'm going to go ahead and set mine to 45. Again, we could get the options from here, by the way. Okay, I'm going to hit OK. I've got that set. The other thing I'm going to do, I'm going to cut my coordinates on down here so I can see them. I'm going to hit my customization window, and coordinates is the very top one. I'm going to click it on. I'm also going to click on dynamic input. That way the things that's up on the screen beside the cursor, if that ever goes away, it's this button right here. Okay, it looks like a flash drive with a plus sign beside of it. Okay, we've got our coordinates cut on now, and of course line weight is the other one that I won't cut on. Those are all really important. Once I click in the screen with my left mouse button, they all go away. Everything's back to where it needs to be. As you can see, as I move my cursor around the screen, the increments change at the bottom. We need to set our units. Our units for the average person is 2 decimal places. That doesn't mean you don't need to know more decimal places. If you read a drawing that says 0.63, then you need to know at that point, does that person actually want an object 0.63 long, or do they want an object that's 0.625 long, which is 5/8? That's a question that you need to ask when you're talking to a client. So I'm going to change my decimal precision to 2 decimal places and hit OK. All this, by the way, you'll see other places. So we've got it pretty much set up except for the fact the UCS icon down here in the lower corner. If you're doing exact coordinates instead of just drawing up in the screen, this could get in the way. So if I start typing, notice my cursor, I'm not down here in the command line. If I start typing UCS, it finds UCS icon. I'm going to click on it and I'm going to cut it off. So now it's off. With all these changes on the screen, this is the way I like to use my computer. It keeps it a lot cleaner for me. It's a lot easier to use. We talked yesterday a little bit about other things like drawing commands and modify, but this gets you into your basic setup. Okay? The other thing we're going to do is we're going to set up layers. And I like having my layers set up, so I'm going to go into Layers Property Manager. The only layer that's on there, this is the one that comes out of the box, is a 0 layer. I'm going to add a layer. Here, I'll pull this down so we can see it a little bit. Okay, this is the add layer right here, new layer. I'm going to click on it. I'm going to add an object line, because remember, the outside edges of an object that we're going to draw are shown with object lines. Continuous line weight, we're going to change it to 0.7 and hit OK. And the color we're going to leave white. The line type, like we said, is continuous. My next one that I'm going to add hidden. Now here we're going to change our line type. When I click on it, the only one we have is continuous, so I'm going to load some lines. I'm going to go ahead and load 2 that I know I'm going to need. I'm going to get the center 2. The center 2 is half the spacing of a normal center line. It works better in AutoCAD. Then I'm going to scroll down. I'm going to hold down my control key and I'm going to hit hidden 2 also. So that gets both of those, as you can see here. I'm going to hit OK. We've got them both loaded. I'm in my hidden line right now, so I'm going to hit hidden and say OK again. There it is loaded. The line weight for a hidden line is 0.5 millimeters, 0.50. And I'm going to hit OK. I'm going to do another layer. I'm going to call this one center, because I'll need center lines for circles and arcs. Change it to a center line type. And I'm going to use the default setting for this, because I'll use default setting also for dimensions and stuff. So I'll hit OK there. We'll add another layer. We'll call this one dimensions. So leave everything here, but now we're going to go back to continuous. And we're going to leave the default. Do one more layer, call it text. Same settings here, that's good. And I do a layer called border and paper, because sometimes I like to have a picture of a piece of paper on my screen. You can do this with limits, by the way. And the book describes how to use limits, but sometimes I'll put those on there. But these are the main ones we need for right now. So now that I've got all those loaded, I'm going to go ahead and cut this off. And if you see up here, they're all there now. Okay? I'm going to hit the escape button. The properties dialog, if I click here, I get the properties dialog box added. Yours is probably going to fly out into the middle of the screen, is where yours will come to. I've got mine docked over to the side right now. So if I grab it just right over here, it's getting a hold of it's the problem. I'm going to exit out. But I've got mine, like I said, docked. You can dock yours over to the side also. The key to this thing is, when we dock it, is this auto hide button is using it. So that way when I get off of it, it goes away. So now I've got it set up and ready to use. This is the way I like to have my computer set to operate. Remember, the right mouse button now acts as an enter key. So it comes in really handy if I click it once. So if I'm in the line command and it says specify first point down there, click, drag across, and I'm left clicking, give it a distance of 10 and hit my right mouse button, that's an enter key. Ooh, it went away. What happened there? So let's try that again. Line, over, 10, enter. Okay, there we go. Okay, so now I get out of the command by hitting the right mouse button, because enter takes me out of the command. I can hit the right mouse button again if I want to use the exact same command I was just in. So if I hit the right mouse button again here, it takes me right back into the line. This is a neat little trick. If I hit it one more time, it'll take me back to the last endpoint I was at. So that's another one of those little tricks, okay? Okay, that's all I'm going to do in this video. I'm going to undo my line that I have on there. So this has got you set up ready to draw. I hope this helps a lot. I'll talk to you again soon.